Ladies and gentlemen, we're officially back. Sorry for the radio silence. We had a few things to sort out behind the scenes, but everything's settled now. And even though a few days have passed, there's no way I could skip talking about the biggest event of the year. Because seriously, what a show Mr. Olympia 2025 turned out to be. It's been ages since we've seen a competition this intense, unpredictable, and full of emotion. Not since 2018 had the audience felt that electric mix of tension and excitement. Every pose, every face-off, every comparison had people holding their breath. You couldn't look away because every tiny detail could change the outcome. One thing was clear, bodybuilding was more alive than ever. Right from the first hours of the event, you could feel the buzz in the air. Social media was on fire, bodybuilding forums were exploding with takes and predictions, and fans were glued to the live streams with their hearts racing. It was an emotional marathon, a perfect storm of talent, sweat, and strategy, all coming together in one unforgettable show. Be honest, were you also stuck to the screen, trying to guess who'd win? And the numbers don't lie. Viewership records were shattered across both the live broadcasts and post-show videos. The bodybuilding community showed just how strong and passionate it really is. Every analysis, every reaction, every side-by-side photo became the talk of millions. The energy felt like the World Cup of muscle. But it wasn't just the fans who made history. The athletes delivered performances straight out of a movie. The 2025 Olympia brought an insane level of quality, incredible physiques, bold strategies, and shocking twists in every category. You couldn't predict a single thing, and maybe that's exactly what made it so special. So buckle up, hit that like button, drop a comment about who impressed you the most, and come with me as we dive into the behind-the-scenes drama, the controversies, and the triumphs of the most electrifying Olympia in years. Because if there's one thing 2025 proved, it's that bodybuilding still knows how to surprise and move us. Now, if there was one thing fans didn't expect from Mr. Olympia 2025, it was to see the big favorites stumble when it mattered most. The open division, the pinnacle of world bodybuilding, delivered shocks, upsets, and lessons no one saw coming. And at the center of it all was Samson Dauda, the reigning champion who walked in to defend his crown and walked out in fourth place. Samson was everyone's favorite bet, the poster boy for predictions, the physique that seemed unbeatable. But what we saw on stage was almost unrecognizable. His conditioning went too far, leaving him flat, deflated, and lacking the fullness and roundness that made him famous. The prep, handled by his wife and coach Marlena, who stepped in after the legendary Milos Sarcev, just didn't click. The result? A physique with no punch, and a dynasty that crumbled right before the world's eyes. The disappointment was written all over his face. Samson, usually so charismatic and friendly with fans, looked stunned, as if he couldn't believe what was happening. The lack of balance between size and definition cost him dearly. Commentators agreed. The biggest letdown of Olympia 2025 had a name, Samson Dauda. The question now is, will he rethink his path and bring in a new coach, or double down on the same formula? But he wasn't the only one who missed the mark. Nick Walker, the mutant, came in promising an unreal level of conditioning. Social media went wild with hype, videos, comparisons, teasers. Everything pointed to a monster performance. But when the lights hit the stage, the buzz turned to silence. Nick came in off, especially in the legs. Even though he looked sharper in the finals, it wasn't enough to break into the top 5. His new coach clearly miscalculated the peak, and by the time they fixed things, it was too late. Nick's known for his iron mindset and relentless work ethic, a guy who built his career through grind, not gifted genetics. But in 2025, the timing just wasn't there, and at the Olympia, a bad peak is fatal. The frustration was shared by everyone, fans, analysts, even fellow competitors. The people's disappointment, as some called it, proved that even the most disciplined athlete can fall short when prep goes sideways. And to close this chapter of bitter surprises, Hadi Choopan. The former champ brought power and presence, but lost ground in the prejudging, where first impressions mean everything. Even though he came back stronger and fuller in the finals, the earlier scores had already sealed the deal. Derek Lunsford took the crown. It was a technical and emotional battle, and the lack of consistency cost Hadi big time. He proved once again that at the Olympia, it's not enough to shine once. You've got to shine the whole way through. The 2025 Open category reminded us of a hard truth. The Olympia doesn't forgive mistakes. Every choice, every detail, every single pound matters. Samson, Nick, and Hadi proved that even giants can stumble. But it wasn't just in the Open division that fans witnessed unexpected upsets. Mr. Olympia 2025 also brought frustration in other categories, where big names and hyped newcomers failed to live up to expectations. Starting with classic physique, a roller coaster of emotions and shocking disappointments. First up, Logan Franklin. Coming off the hype from the Arnold Classic, he had fans all over the world praising his flawless, classic lines. But once he hit the Olympia stage, the magic faded. His physique, once elegant and balanced, lacked impact, density, and presence this time around. The result? A tough 13th place finish. A reminder of just how brutally demanding the Olympia stage can be when it comes to absolute perfection. Then came Breon Ansley, a two-time champ and one of the true legends of the division. At 42, he still displayed an admirable, mature, and detailed physique, but the spark wasn't quite the same. Age had started to show, especially in his legs, where the volume and separation weren't as sharp as before. It felt symbolic, the graceful farewell of a legend watching a new generation step into the spotlight. And we can't forget Rough Diesel, who came in with all the confidence in the world, promising victory and breaking down how he'd beat everyone, including Brazil's Ramon Dino. But in the end, he had to settle for third. The issue? Conditioning. He came in bigger, with more muscle, but the same old problems persisted, glutes and hamstrings lacking the deep detail that separates great from legendary. That third-place medal definitely had a bittersweet taste. The women's divisions had their share of surprises too. Giselle Machado took one of the steepest drops of the night, from 5th to 15th place. Conditioning mistakes and even a poorly chosen bikini threw off her entire look. Cassandra Gillies, a former Arnold Classic champ, placed 12th, disappointing fans who expected to see her back in the finals. And Shanique Grant, with elite genetics and 2 Olympia titles to her name, still hasn't recaptured her old magic. But make no mistake, that fire's still there, waiting for the right moment to reignite. Among the Brazilians, the feelings were mixed. Victor Porto dropped from 5th to 8th despite an aesthetic, well-balanced physique. The level in the 212 division just skyrocketed this year. Lucas Qualo had an off day and ended up in the last call-out, appearing flat and lacking impact. But Eric Wildberger's story stole hearts. After a drastic weight loss, missing the height cutoff, and even surviving a car crash, he still stepped on stage. A true example of resilience. And finally, Vitor Chavez slipped from 7th to 10th, but remains one of Brazil's biggest prospects. Maybe all he needs is training in a more competitive environment to unlock his full potential. When it came to the classic physique finale, the entire crowd was on edge. Who would be crowned the new king? Ramon Dino's victory felt like a modern epic. He won by just a single point, in a tense showdown against Mike Sommerfeld that felt like it could go on forever. The weigh-in controversy dominated social media. After pressure from Brazilian fans, Mike was rechecked and had to drop around 10 pounds, for 0.5 kilograms, to make the limit. That decision turned out to be the defining moment, one that ensured fairness in the final outcome. Without that push from the fans, Ramon might not have taken home the title. But Brazil didn't stop there. Honestly, they were the standout nation of the entire event. Making his 212 debut, Lucas Garcia shocked the bodybuilding world by taking 3rd place in his very first Olympia appearance. Compared to legends like Eduardo Correa, he showed maturity, balance, and a physique that turned heads everywhere. Many already believe that if current champ Keone Pearson moves up a division, Lucas could easily become the next 212 Olympia champion in 2026. It's proof that Brazil's new bodybuilding era is just getting started. Another rising star was Matheus Minigat, a meteoric talent from classic physique. In only 4 years, he jumped from 17th to 7th, showing big improvements in his chest, back, and overall conditioning. His physique is still a work in progress, but the potential is massive. And what's most impressive, he's been competing for such a short time, yet he's already holding his own among the best in the world. On the women's side, Natália Coelho once again proved why she's a phenomenon. She defended her title and became a two-time women's physique Olympia champion, solidifying Brazil's dominance in the category. But her win came with controversy. Sarah Viegas publicly accused her of using fillers to enhance fullness. The public's response was immediate, overwhelming support for Natália and heavy criticism of Sarah's behavior. Natália handled it with class, lit up the stage, and showed that the best response to any accusation is holding the trophy in your hands. And we can't forget about Zama Bento and Levina, who also lit up the stage in women's bodybuilding. Zama made a strong comeback, reclaiming the third place she lost last year, while Levina shocked the world with a historic third-place finish in a division traditionally dominated by Americans. Over in wellness, Brazil kept its absolute dominance. Eduarda Bezerra took the crown with the best lines of the night, followed by Isa Pereira in second, and Elisa Alcantara from the Dominican Republic rounding out the podium in third. To wrap up what was an incredible event for Brazil, we've got to mention Gorilla Albino, who climbed from 5th to 4th in the wheelchair division, a well-deserved highlight. But behind all the bright lights and shiny trophies, Mr. Olympia 2025 also revealed deeper stories, behind-the-scenes drama, and valuable lessons that showed why this edition was so special. Beyond the stage performances, it showcased Brazil's stunning rise on the international scene, the country's best showing in history. Never before had so many Brazilians placed among the world's best across so many categories. In post-show discussions, analysts focused not just on results, but on what could be learned from them. Samson Dauda's loss, for example, sparked debate about final week strategies. The push for extreme conditioning came at the expense of volume, proportion, and stage presence. Meanwhile, Nick Walker's case reinforced the importance of an experienced coaching team. His new coach mistimed the peak, proving that at the Olympia, discipline alone isn't enough. You need surgical precision. Other names also drew attention for the wrong reasons. Akeem Williams finished only 16th, showing signs of physical wear and inconsistency. And Iran's Baris Tabani, making his Olympia debut, came in with high expectations but missed his carb-up window, leaving his physique looking heavier and less detailed than it needed to be. And that's how another historic chapter of Mr. Olympia 2025 comes to a close, an edition that'll be remembered by every true bodybuilding fan. Now, looking ahead, the 2026 Arnold Classic Ohio is just around the corner, and it promises to be another unforgettable spectacle. It's one of the most incredible shows out there, with flawless organization and the legendary moment when winners receive the trophy from Arnold Schwarzenegger himself. A dream only a few get to live, but one that drives everyone who loves this sport. So tell me, who do you think will shine next? Drop your predictions in the comments. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. What was your biggest disappointment and your proudest moment from Mr. Olympia 2025? Let us know down below. We love reading your thoughts. And of course, if you enjoyed these stories, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and keeps us bringing you this kind of content. If you want to support the channel even more, consider becoming a member. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything from the world of bodybuilding. And to keep the energy going, don't go anywhere. On the final screen, you'll see a video you need to watch next.